Hey, it's been a while since I've come live on here, and I'm so excited to go live today with one of our newest members. And this person excites me so much because she's a dietitian, but she's not your average dietitian. She's a functional dietitian. So, what she shares and speaks to is really all for the goodness of your health. So, just from the time I got to learn more about her, I was like, oh my gosh, I love all that you're doing. So, let me see if I can add her in here. We're going to be speaking to Jennifer. Let's see. I just invited you, so you might be getting the notification.
Hello.
Hey. Well, Instagram made that seamless. Before you would have to accept, and then I would have to accept, and all the things, but it just let you
Yeah,
in.
now it's just boom, easy peasy.
Good. Somebody probably gave them the memo. Awesome. Guys, I am so excited to be talking with Jennifer because Jennifer just made my heart so happy when I met her and she was sharing all the things that she does and how she practices as a dietitian. Okay, you're just gonna love her. So I get
Thank you so
excited thinking
much.
about it because
You're so funny.
this
That was
is
a great conversation. Yes.
it was. And I was like, wait a minute, the dietitians I'm used to do this, and you're like, no, I share
We
more of
do
a functional
exist.
side. Yes. So I'm so glad that you exist and that you're actually a part of our community because we need more like you, and we're so happy to have you. So, first,
Thank you.
I'll have you share what it is that you do,
hmm
and then we're getting to some juicy conversation. So, everyone meet Jennifer, and I'll
Hey,
have her pronounce
everyone.
her name so I don't mess it up, her last name.
Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Bianchini. Yes.
And
um, I
no, I was going to say, and you can tell them what you do also.
Perfect. Yes. So I think Michelle mentioned a little bit, I'm a functional dietitian nutritionist. So I am an integrative and functional nutrition practitioner. So I meld the nutrition side of things, food. I really truly believe in food as medicine, but I combine that with nervous system regulation and mindfulness, right? Because a lot of people do know what to eat or have an idea or can go so far and we educate, but then it's like, okay, you have all the education after a while. How do you get from where you are or where you know you want to be to actually being there, right? So it's a whole mindset change. So I really truly believe that with functional nutrition and with helping people nourish themselves from the inside out, you cannot just do it with food alone. You have to nourish with food, with thoughts, with mindset, with really true whole health and whole being care. So my practice is all about treating people from within with food as medicine, functional nutrition, and lifestyle and mindfulness techniques.
So good, because you're right. It's all connected, right? And
It so
that's the
is.
that's the thing about holistic like wellness. It's we know that it's not just one thing, it's the whole. So I love that you tie these things in together. So Jennifer, tell us what made you get into this realm of health. Was it your own?
Yes.
I love to hear. So a lot of times it's our own journey and helping ourselves. So I'm like, tell the people
Yes.
what got you
Yes, yes,
started.
yes. So it was definitely my own journey. I had a long journey, like I think a lot of us do. But before that, it was still my journey, but it started with my grandmother. So my grandma lived with us from the time I was 4 years old. And she was a very old school Italian grandmother. And she was born in 1913. So she had my dad way older. So she was like, and when I say old school, she was literally from the old school. But she taught me everything that I know in the terms of my beliefs of wellness and nutrition and lifestyle. And I just always laugh because whenever I think about all these things, I was so young. So I just grew up with it. She didn't, I would like, I always laugh. I would see her in her room because she had her own little apartment. We always walk in there and hang with her. And she'd be doing these weird things. She'd be putting like egg whites on her face and like honey and egg yolk on her hair. And like, I'm 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, grandma's so weird. But now there's literally, right, a whole entire $1 trillion industry doing what my grandmother was doing without us. She just was doing her normal life. It was not, I just love that she just called everything food, right? It was not organic food. It was not trying to find something that's not genetically modified. It was just food. I don't even think it barely existed then otherwise, right? And when she would cook for us, and we ate homemade meals every night. My mother would cook too, but my grandmother would cook many nights, and we never had anything out of a box. She would make homemade bread, homemade pasta. I would have like a toy kitchen, and she would literally give me some homemade dough. So I would be like probably the only 4-year-old with fresh bread rising in my toy kitchen. So we grew up like that,
Oh,
and that led me to the belief and realizing that this stuff is amazing and so powerful. And I see how she lived and how we lived. And then fast forward, that was like the food end of things. And then how I brought like mindfulness into everything is I was between like 16 through 23, right? Like teens to younger adult, very a
yeah.
little wild, to say the least.
For real.
So we'll say that. But no emotional regulation, very impulsive, would get very like my emotions kind of all over the place and
Mhm.
did not know how to control that. Didn't realize I was never being present. I didn't even realize I was not being present. I went to a yoga class and literally in Shavasana, everything just clicked. Like my whole world just clicked and said, I need to be doing nutrition and helping people, but I also need to bring this piece into it. And so that's when I started to become really into a yoga spiritual mindset and practice. And then I connected nutrition and yoga eventually. It took me a really long time, but I connected both into my business world. So that is my story in a nutshell.
I love that. I totally love that. And I love grandma because grandma taught you so
Yes,
many of the foundational
she
things about
did.
food. Like, I was literally thinking how we're like some of the final generations that remembers what real food tastes like these newer
Seriously.
generations don't realize what real food tastes like because they've grown up with a lot of genetically modified foods and packaged foods and they just don't know. I grew up in England, so things tasted a lot different versus when I moved here. But now, what, 40 years later, things taste even more different than they did 40 years ago.
So much. And we would laugh at my grandmother would say it. She'd be like, oh, this chicken doesn't taste the same as it used to. And we were just like, Grandma, come on. But she was so, because I say the same thing, and she was so on point then. And now we're saying the same thing, but I mean, poor grandma. She would not want to eat the food today. She loved her food. So I think she would be very disappointed in the food system of
Yes,
America. That's for sure.
absolutely. It's funny how we end up being just like our parents or grandparents because of
Yes.
the things they used to say and we thought were crazy, and now we're like, oh my gosh, they were
Yes.
so right.
No, I'm crazy too, but in the very best way.
Yes, yes. Okay. So that is so good. So you really have a rich, like, cultural upbringing of real food, grandma teaching you how to make the
Yes.
foods. Oh my gosh, guys, can you imagine being in Jennifer's house and eating whatever she's making? I bet you it's the best. I'm sure it's the
Like
best.
it was, and I love, love, love cooking. So I take so much of the cooking from, when we used to, and I've modified, right? I've been gluten free and I've been bringing in dairy, but I've done a lot of dairy free. So like modifying these great old school Italian recipes and other recipes too, and still making them so delicious and just changing it a little bit to maybe make it a little healthier, but just if you eat real whole foods, you can eat and you can, and it's a lot of what I do too is I think about and I practice with my clients and I share mindful eating is so important because like what I was going to say before is you were making me laugh. I didn't, and it's crazy, right? We have Sunday meal every single Sunday religiously. My grandparents, I had two sets, right? So my grandma and my grandparents, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, I mean cousins, and we would eat huge Italian feasts every Sunday. But when we would drive to my cousin's house, I'd like pass the McDonald's or something. This when I was so young, and I'm like I literally didn't know kids eat McDonald's on Sundays. Like that's how it was ingrained in me. That's how like Food is really like, it was so cultural for us, and it still is. But then the piece that I think we're also missing, besides the cooking piece, and I do believe like cooking is one of, I always think it's one of the greatest ways to, or greatest acts of self love and self care, right? We're so big in self care in this generation because we have to be. They used to just do self care without really thinking about it. It was just part of life. But
Yeah,
really, when you take raw materials, right? It's an art form too, raw materials, and you put them together, and now you're able to feed yourself the building blocks of your own foundation. Like, it's incredible. It takes a long time sometimes, right? It's not convenient at times. But if we can do more of that as a whole, I think that's so, so important.
oh, that's so good. You said feed yourself the building blocks of our foundation. Guys, if
Yeah,
everyone thought about food like that, right, as the building blocks, I think they would make better choices.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, is what it is, right? You people know, like, oh, they say you are what you eat, and now we even say you are what your food eats. But there's still that disconnect. I think people are still not connecting that this food breaks down into things, and we use or get rid of all of the things. And if you're
yep,
eating more toxic than important things, compounds, right? What's going to happen over time?
exactly. Exactly. Oh, yeah. So true. So very true when you think of
Yeah.
it from that perspective. I just loved your wording because it really makes I saw a visual with that when you were saying eating the building blocks, like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to
Yeah.
regenerate different parts of my body and cells and all the things. It makes you think twice. I love that phrase.
Yes.
So I feel like, and I don't know, I never asked you this, but have you written a book or a cookbook already?
No, I want to. It's one of my goals, but not yet. Uh-uh.
Oh, I see
Which
that in your
I always
future.
wanted to with my actually with my grandma, and also pulling. So most old school people, like you know, Italian or not, our grandmothers or great great grandmother. She was my grandma, but it would be like more like a great grandma in generations because she was like a double generation away from me. So they don't write recipes. So we have a few, and I remember them in my brain. But like, I would just love to make her old school, and maybe I can just redesign it in a way. But I've always thought about something along those lines. 100%. I would love
Oh
to. You're
yeah, like when you
reigniting it in
just
my
said,
brain.
no,
Yeah.
seriously, when you said
Yeah.
I've adjusted some to be gluten free and some to not have as much dairy, I was like, has Jennifer already done this?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I see that for you because someone like me, knowing that you have this cultural upbringing with eating really clean food, is very exciting. It's very exciting. So anyway, I'm
Love
putting that
that.
in your brain right now.
Put that in my
Oh,
bio.
yes,
Future.
yes, along with all the other things. So, guys, we're
Mm.
just hitting the tip of the iceberg with Jennifer because not only is Jennifer a dietitian and she also helps with nervous system regulation through yoga, but you have an entire like team that
Hmm.
you
Yes.
built that. So, tell us how that works and how people can potentially work with you or your team to get help when it comes to what they're putting in their bodies and the things that you help to teach them and help them with.
Yeah. So my practice is called Body to Soul Health. I created it, well, I created it in 2016 because I do put things on paper way before they exist. And it did a couple, it was always an LLC of doing different things. And I actually lost I wouldn't say my interest in food, but my interest in nutrition for a while because when I went to school and became a registered dietitian, everything that I learned from my grandma and I grew up with almost was like taught backwards. It was very like everything I believed in, I'm supposed to now not believe in, and that's not me, right? So I'm like, I wanted to go to school, get credentialed. That's important, learn the science. But then I came out like, wow, how do I think the food system is toxic. I know all these foods help us, but I don't know, I cannot connect the dots still. So I started just doing yoga and doing a whole yoga business, but always part time, always a side hustle, and always working in nutrition in the hospital. I went to nutrition sales. But finally in 2023, I said, I can finally, like, I just just jumped in and said, I'm going to go full time to do this and just do what I finally always have wanted to do and what this voice has always told me to do. So I started with myself and then I hired one person and now we're a team of 8 plus me. So we're a team of 9 dietitians and we're all trained either functionally or trained by me functionally. So we're all registered and functional dietitians. And then we practice in the realm of really looking at, again, food is medicine, but looking at it from source. Like your gut plays such a huge role. And we truly believe in total nourishment. So, nourishment from food, from soul, from mind. We talk a lot about thoughts. Like it's a little bit unique because we're not just talking about the food, right?
Yeah.
And we are covered and we're covered by and we accept insurance for most major commercial insurance companies. So many people can now see a functional dietitian, but they can actually be covered. And a lot of people see us for unlimited, they can see unlimited sessions and it's no cost out of pocket or just a slight cost. So that's really great because now we can bring the I want to say the masses into this what used to be and what still is thought of as such an elite or like a luxurious kind of thing, but I still
Yeah.
consider us a luxury wellness like boutique brand, but we just are able to take insurance. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. We have that clinical functional medical nutrition therapy, but we mix it with the integrative and functional health and mindset and nervous
That
system.
is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because a typical dietitian, I'm sure, doesn't have the amount of like skill sets that you also offer. Like you're helping with nervous system, you're helping with like you guys even, I don't know if they do the yoga while they're going over things with the
We'll
client.
do like mini micro sessions of things, right? So sometimes we'll just share like a yoga pose or even just like a neck roll, because anything that has to do with connection of mind and movement and breath really is yoga, right? So if you just
Mm,
inhale, right? If you're just sitting here and I'll go with them and we'll just inhale our arms up, we close our eyes and then we just exhale and bring our palms to chest, just like that. You've done yoga really quick, but you've connected, right? You've made a
yeah.
present moment and you've grounded yourself. So we will do little techniques to just help them ground in the session and then teach them how to do longer techniques when they're out of session. And the greatest thing is they don't have to, or nobody has to do very long sessions when it comes to regulating and um, just becoming present. A lot of it is, we was talking about mindful eating before, we were just touching on it, but if you take a breath before you eat a meal, your body goes into a state of rest and digest or shifts into parasympathetic state. So your body's prepared and ready now for the meal. So people that practice gratitude, right? You pray, some people pray or are grateful for the meal. It's that same kind
Yeah.
of thing. You're just becoming present and you're coming out of your head and into your senses. So we teach those types of techniques, whether it's practicing with them or sharing different types of techniques that they can do on the day to day. And everybody's different with what resonates with them and what feels best for them. But there's so many different techniques that we use.
Oh, Jennifer, that is so good. That is so good because I feel like we're living in a day and age right now where everyone is eating on the go. It's just like a quick rush meal. And speak to how that plays a role in your gut. Because,
Oh, it's huge. It is
yeah,
huge. So the gut to brain access, right, is something, the mind body connection means the same thing. Something called the vagus nerve, right? So the vagus nerve is what is really in charge of helping shift your body back into that rest and digest state. So it starts in your brainstem and it goes all the way down the center of your body. So when people are talking about these buzzwords, right? Like how do we stimulate our vagus nerve? How do we activate it? What's happening is we are toning this vagus nerve just like we would tone our muscle to help our body get into this rest and digest state because we live in this world of, I say, right, if we have a phone, we're stressed. And of course, we're all stressed because our world is just so stressful. Even people that have
Mhm.
created their own lives that they love and feel passion and purpose and are peaceful within, there's still so much coming at us, right? So by Same, right? I know. I mean, I practice what I preach all the time, and half the time I don't, and I need to, right? It's like,
No, and
it's
that's why I'm
constant.
grateful for people like you because you share like this kind of information. It makes people more mindful. I'm very mindful of this myself, but it's just like these are the wellness things that I incorporate to help me. Like life is just as crazy for me as it is for everyone else. I am living in passion and purpose,
Yes.
but it's very fast paced and there's a lot to do. So
Yes.
taking the time right before you eat, like how important that is. I love that you shared that. And okay, continue. So good.
Yes. So when we're constantly, right? So if we're in, acute stress is always great. Fight or flight state, we need it, right? I always explain back in the cave woman man era, right? If there was a lion attacking us, there was a purposeful threat. It was physical. Our body has to make adrenaline, it has to make cortisol, right? We have to start breaking down our sugar and putting it into our bloodstream so we have energy. Our most important key for the digestion is we stop blood flow into our gut area and we flow it to our extremities because we're about to either fight or flight.
Mhm.
But if we cannot shift in and out efficiently into our parasympathetic or rest and digest state of calmness, then we're in that state of chronic fight or flight. So eventually, what's happening is our body is constantly making stress hormones, which is AKA cortisol, right? Which is constantly releasing sugar into our bloodstream. And then we're also
Mm,
releasing insulin because that is the hormone to remove the sugar out or the glucose. So we're in fat storage mode. Not only are we in fat storage mode, our stomach starts to decrease gastric secretions, which are so important for
mm,
digesting, especially protein. Then our
mm.
enzymes are not working properly. Our motility, so the way our food moves through the gut, is slower, and a bunch of other things just in our digestive tract. So many people, right, are suffering from bloating, maybe constipation or loose stools or other kinds of issues. And then when you're bloated, right, is your brain happy? No, you're not happy, right? You're feeling
Mm, mm.
miserable. So there's that connection there. And back to the vagus nerve, which is this bi-directional communication. Our body tells our brain 80% of the time what's happening. So serotonin, neurotransmitters, chemicals that are important for our body, hormones, our body tells our brain really what to secrete most of the time. So we have to, if our body is happy, right? If we're very calm on the inside, we're going to be able to digest our food better because we're going to start to send in the signals to say, hey, we're in rest and digest mode. Cortisol shut off, right?
Yep.
um, Prepare for food, stimulate your gastric secretions, etc. So it's this whole cadence.
Oh my goodness. This is so good. So, guys, I know a bunch of people just jumped on, but Jennifer was literally speaking to why it's important to be mindful right before you start eating, how that
So important.
influences how you digest and how you feel after and how your bowels are like digesting that food. I just love that you touched on that because I feel like we live in a society where, especially if you're in corporate and you're like eating on the go and high stress. And so, like the gastric acid, which is so important to help us digest, may not be as much in your stomach because of the stress levels. That was so good.
Yes.
Okay.
So even if you're eating, like I have so many clients that come to me because not because they're eating poorly. A lot of our clients are overall, right, in the bulk of the world, healthy or are putting in healthy things in the body or doing a lot of the right things or right doing this and this and this and now all of a sudden they're trying to do all the things and that's also really stressful, right? So it's figuring out and trying to find out what the right things are for your own self, your own body, and everybody's different, right? So you can just throw, right? You don't want to just throw all the things and see what sticks. That's what we help with. It's very personalized. So we really want to see what works for you. But I can always tell people, right? Like I always think of 80-20 rules I love. So if you do 80% of good stuff for yourself, right, in sales 20% comes from or 80% comes from 20% of the people, but it's the same thing. If we have like a bulk of, if you get fresh air and sunlight every day, if you do joyful movement, if you eat balanced meals and make sure you're getting your colors in, you're going to feel 80% good at least. But then, right, we have to tweak that 20% per person depending on how their life is and what, from the time they've been born till now, what has been going on in their lives. And we really take a look at their whole entire timeline to determine and help them find what's best.
Okay, if you're just joining this conversation, you're going to want to go back to the beginning, and you can already tell, like, Jennifer is just a master at what she does. Okay. And I love this conversation because nutrition is always my jam, of course. And I love that you're touching on things that sometimes people are just not aware of. I'm so far down in
Yeah.
the rabbit hole of health and wellness, guys. I do a lot of these things, but I love to hear the expert come on here and share it, because I think it's sometimes when I first heard certain things like this, I was like, huh, I never really thought about that. But now I know I'm one of those people. Now I know I'm going to be incorporating. I do better once I know. So
Yeah.
Jennifer's amazing. I cannot even believe that, there's so many holistic modalities that you have to pay cash to receive. Jennifer has a whole practice and a team that that's covered under insurance. So this is just so good. This is so good.
Yes.
I'm just loving
And
it.
just free tip, right? Your breath is free. You can literally do these things. And don't get me wrong, I love doing too many things, all the things, right? And I think it's also important to invest and do some things that are outside of just, but we have the power within to literally heal ourselves and to do just, we can be anywhere in the world, in any place, and still at least be present. And I always say, right, there's when we are, if I'm on the beach, my happy place, and I'm having just literally a stress free day and I'm doing nothing, I'm just there. Well, yes, that is presence and peace and just pure glow. But there's times in life, right? And everybody has different situations that let's be real, right? Life is hard. So I don't want to sound like peachy and like, haha, just have to be present. But no matter what you're dealing with, grief, sorrow, joy, gratitude, happy, when you're in that presence, as horrible as it might feel or as amazing as it might feel, that's really what the key is just finding that presence, and you will be able to start being aware of things, right? And if you're aware, can eventually make changes.
Oh, that's so good. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is what I love so much about you, Jennifer, is that one, you are very skilled as a dietitian, but you also recognize how important our nervous system and regulation is when it comes to how we're digesting and how our health is affected by the foods that we're eating. So you just got on here. Jennifer was even talking about even those of us that eat really healthy, sometimes we have a lot of gut issues because the other elements that we don't address, the mindset, right? Jennifer talks about this. Like, I love this holistic way of how you are helping people with their, not only with what they're eating, but how they're eating and what they're thinking and nervous system regulation and breathing. This is so
Yes.
good. I'm so
Yes.
honored,
Thank
like
you.
seriously honored to have you in the network. You are
Thank
just
you.
one of so many amazing people. Like, this information is so good. And I just see some events and all the things for Jennifer because she's amazing. You are going to be on stages, and I'm like putting it out there that the book is going to come, guys, because Jennifer
I
learned a
love
lot
that.
of her. What you've learned about food was from your great grandmother, who knows real food. Great grandmother from Italy. Where else do you get really good food? Like, Jennifer knows her stuff.
She
But
was.
this was such a good conversation. I want you to share how people can connect with you. I will have you tagged on this post once the recording goes out. I will be collaborating with you, so they should see you on the page. But just in case, you can share it right
Yeah.
now, like how people can reach you if you have a website or anything else.
Absolutely. So my website is bodytosoulhealth.com. That's TO, not the number two. And then I'm also on Instagram at the vibrational dietitian. And that's where I am combining my dietitians. I've trained them all in something called the calm method, which I created. And now I'm moving into a collective membership and going to provide some other offerings. So people that either don't want to do one-on-ones or are graduating from one-on-ones can now still get the benefits from us and our practice. And I don't see one-on-ones anymore, but I will be very present in the collective. It's a work in progress, so it is coming out soon, which I'm excited about. I did also start a podcast, so it's called the High Frequency Lifestyle. It's coming out tomorrow. So, but all that is going to be on at the Vibrational Dietitian is like the main Instagram and YouTube account, and then Body to Soul Health is my website. And people that want to, it's very easy to book. You can literally, if there's anybody that you know would like to see a functional dietitian, very easy to book on there. And then we verify insurance and we go through everything after that. So it's pretty simple.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Congratulations on the podcast. Is that with Elizabeth?
Thank you. No, we're doing another one. So that's coming
Oh my,
TBD.
listen,
A
you
lot of
are on
my
fire.
creative juices are flowing. So I'm taking
I love
advantage.
it. Yes, yes. So I see Leonelli. Hi, Leonelli. She's like enjoying this conversation. I love whenever she's on because she's always so engaged. So she's like, hi, Jennifer. She's saying, hi, Jennifer. Truer than true. 80-20%
Hey,
in food is the
Natalie.
same in sales and fitness. Yep. I do agree with that 80-20% rule for sure. Being centered is essential for self-awareness. I know she also was saying, she says, I use the Insider Timer app a lot. Wait, what is the book? Oh, she hasn't written the book yet. It's coming. I put the book out. I'm like calling it
No, I have
out
to
for
do
her.
it. We've manifested it. I will bring it into
I
fruition.
know. Well, Leonelli was saying she's doing a wellness fair. Perhaps you guys can collaborate. Oh, and she's saying me too. So I guess
Would
Leonelli,
love
send me more
to.
details about that. We can get back to you for sure. I'm so glad you were able to join in this conversation. Uh, she loves all things health and wellness. So whenever she gets to jump on,
Awesome.
she's like so engaged. So thank you for being on, Leonelli, and share the information about the health fair. We'd love to know. Thank you for everyone watching. Thank you so much to Jennifer, who is a wealth of information. Oh my gosh. I just love that you didn't take that one piece of knowledge and put it in a box, but you've like really expanded it to make it like more of an ecosystem to help people heal and feel their best and all the things. So thank you so much for all the amazing work you're doing. And guys, you're going to see a lot more of Jennifer. Trust me. Trust me,
Thank
trust
you
me.
so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. I always love our chats, and I appreciate you building this platform for all of us and for having me on.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Jennifer is in Miami, but I know she does work with people all over. So you don't have to be in any one location to work with her or her team. You can be anywhere. So thank you for joining. We will catch you later. Or if you didn't get to catch this, I see some people joining. You can catch the recording. Thank you, Jennifer. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
Michelle.